The Paycheck Protection Program was a federal loan program established in March of 2020 under the CARES Act to provide financial support to small businesses during the COVID pandemic. The primary purpose was to help businesses maintain their payrolls, keep employees on staff, and cover essential expenses to avoid layoffs and closures during a period of severe economic disruption. Now, the CARES Act, that's the CARES, that stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security. How the PPP worked. So there's three of them. One, forgivable loans. The PPP offered loans that could be forgiven if at least 60% of the funds were used for payroll costs, with the remaining 40% allowed for eligible expenses like rent, mortgage interest, and utilities. Two, eligibility. Initially targeted at businesses with 500 or fewer employees, later expansions included independent contractors, sole proprietors, and certain larger businesses. Three, terms. The loans carried an interest rate of 1% with a 2-year term initially, which was later extended to 5 years for loans made after mid-2020. President Biden's contributions to the PPP. When President Biden took office in January of 2021, he made significant changes and enhancements to the program to ensure that relief reached more businesses, especially those undeserved in previous rounds. Here's how he helped. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. So 1, targeted assistance for smallest businesses. President Biden's administration focused on reaching smaller, minority-owned, and undeserved businesses. This included a 14-day exclusive period for companies with fewer than 20 employees to apply for PPP loans, giving them prioritized access to funds. He also adjusted the loan calculation formula to help sole proprietors, independent contractors, and self-employed workers receive larger loans, aligning better with their actual financial needs. 2, equity and accessibility. To increase accessibility, President Biden's policies expanded eligibility to include more nonprofit organizations and eliminated restrictions that had excluded applicants with non-fraud felony convictions or those who were delinquent on federal student loans. Outreach efforts were made to ensure that minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses received the support they needed. 3, additional funding. The American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, signed by President Biden in March of 2021, added $7 billion in funding for the PPP. This infusion aimed to extend the program's reach and continue supporting struggling businesses. The act also allowed more nonprofit entities, including some digital media companies, to access PPP funds, broadening the pool of eligible applicants. 4, simplified forgiveness. The Biden administration pushed for a simplified loan forgiveness process for loans under $150,000, reducing the administrative burden on small business owners and making it easier to convert their loans into grants. 5, ensuring proper use of funds. President Biden strengthened oversight and transparency measures to ensure that PPP funds were distributed fairly and used appropriately, minimizing fraud and prioritizing genuine small businesses rather than larger, well-funded corporations. Benefits under Biden's leadership. Enhanced support for smaller enterprises. The exclusive application windows and simplified processes allowed smaller businesses to access funds they missed in earlier rounds. Economic stability. Continued support helped prevent a surge in layoffs, keeping millions of Americans employed and stabilizing local economies. Equity and fairness. Targeting undeserved communities and expanding access reflected Biden's commitment to making the program fairer and more inclusive. Overall, President Biden's efforts with the PPP contributed to a more inclusive and effective deployment of financial relief, helping sustain small businesses through the pandemic's challenges. So that's that. So I want to educate you all on that. And like, subscribe, comment, give your thoughts. And I'm going to go more in detail about the American Rescue Plan Act in another video. Stay tuned.